Alrighty then, it's time for a Cho'Gath game, and yes, of course, this is a ranked one, and this one is part of that whole Cinderhulk mini-series thing where I just play every tank with a Cinderhulk. And honestly, I gotta say from the get-go, it felt sort of wasted. I sort of felt like I'd rather have the Juggernaut just to have that cooldown reduction and tenacity, or that I would prefer to have bought Magus. You'll see when I actually purchase the item. Anyways, Magic Pen Red, Armor Yellow, Magic Resistance Blues, and Ability Power Quints, and my masteries were 9, 21, 0. Now, the thing about ruining Cho'Gath is, and also masteries, is you can pretty much put anything on him, as long as you have armor yellows. Give him attack speed red, attack speed quints, and he'll clear slightly faster. Attack speed red and some ability power quints, he'll clear faster, and his abilities will hit just a tad harder, or movement speed for you to actually, be mobile or whatever. It just doesn't matter. He's very versatile in his builds. I actually have a whole video on that. Anyways, as you can see, I tried ganking mid, but he died before I got there. I tried ganking bottom, but the enemy team reacted appropriately. However, the enemy team once again re-engages. The second that the fact that Graves used his trinket there to try to expose me showed that they had no wars. So just go back down and kill him. Unfortunately, he gets himself a double kill, and it cost me my flash too. So that was actually a humongous catastrophic defeat for us. So we're kind of already playing from behind. Now, I picked Cho'Gath because I saw the enemy team picked both Graves, Katarina, and also Volibear. Volibear is a lesser point, but Graves and Katarina. My silence can wreck them both. Mostly I picked Cho'Gath for the Katarina, but if Graves gets clipped before he does any of his abilities, then his damage will plummet tremendously, at least for a little while. So I'm trying for most of this game. I want to use myself as a deterrence for Katarina. Like in this case, I silence her, and she can't do any immediate blink to try to kill Kog'Maw, so she has to take a bit of free damage, and then also Kog'Maw had a long time to react to her. I was also able to use Rupture on the spot that she was going to blink to, and she died as a result with killing nobody. That was essentially a free kill for us. This silence wrecks champions like LeBlanc, like Katarina, anyone that relies on a succession of abilities, because it's a ridiculously long duration. It is quite easy to hit when they're in range, at least, and it's AoE. So you even if you don't intend to get a different target, you can clip them. You could get them just by the fact that they were nearby, and you'll get even more value out of your Pharaoh Scream. Rupture is just an okay ability in my opinion. It's a strong ability when it hits. It's pretty easy to dodge, so that's something you want to rely on. You bank everything on your silence hitting the key targets when you want to be as a tank as Cho'Gath. Now, as you can see, I'm building Catalyst. The fact that I got a 2 assist and an early kill, and that I'm pretty much being unmolested in the jungle, I am going for the Rod of Ages. And now this is actually a good turning point for us, for at least bottom lane. So I fight the Volibear, my teammates end up fighting the Zyra. They actually will kill the Zyra. I think, actually not really. I flashed, I couldn't kill the Volibear. What's her face? Katarina comes in, she gets silenced. We don't do enough damage to kill her just immediately before she deals a lot of damage to me. But fortunately, the Victor shows up, fucks up the Zyra, and then we pretty much fuck up the Graves. So if let me recap that. The silence stopped Katarina's damage, but my Rupture missed, so she got to do a bit more damage to us, so we couldn't just stand there and wipe her out and then turn on the other two, so we had to run. I didn't even know that Victor was coming until I finally saw the map, and he turned it around. That was a proper reaction from the Victor, and that kind of solidified the advantage down bottom lane. Unfortunately here, though, the advantage is sort of lost when Katarina kills the Kog'Maw and then kills the Victor, and I failed to catch up to her because I'm very freaking slow. That's actually one of the weaknesses of Jungle Cho'Gath, or Cho'Gath in general. He pretty much has little mobility. Pretty much cannot catch people worth a damn unless they're slower than him, and he can get a chain reaction of ruptures and stuff. So, the other weakness is just kind of having incredibly long cooldowns and really hard to hit abilities. Well, at least his Q is. Even if I aim better sometimes, I'll still probably get fucked up. Either way, Katarina comes in, it kills the Fiora, unfortunately, and I bite the Katarina, and then she dies by the rupture. Now, this part here is a little puzzling. I'm a really huge fat guy that the Volibear figures it's a smart idea to fight me. So he and Scion pretty much clump themselves up together, and they pretty much get absolutely wrecked by our AoE. That was not smart at all. And that's just kind of that's just kind of a problem with the tank meta that's sort of come up with players. I mean, it's like they really underestimate the unkillability of some of these tanks or how fat they become. I mean, probably by looking at my health bar, you would think I'm low, but I have as much more health than most carries would have at this point, at least like around 70% of their health or something. So either way, here I just stopped. I was trying to get the Scion and I missed my rupture like a scrub, and either way I was probably going to drop anyways. I just wanted to make sure Kog'Maw survived. Fortunately for us, they get two overzealous, Alistair shows up, and they manage to kill the Zyra. Though unfortunately for us, the Alistair screwed up his headbutt pulverize and kind of didn't get anything out of that. Now, Cho'Gath, as I said, I would definitely recommend picking him against a very combo-based team. Like, I picked him when they had Katarina, Volibear, and Graves, like I already said that. However, they picked Scion and Zyra as well, which made it so beautiful of a pick for me. They're all champions that will get fucked by Cho'Gath. Though in this case here, we are the ones getting ram-fisted. So, like, the CC goes out, Fiora shows up, and like just their amount of crowd control just shuts her down along with the exhaust, so we don't really get anywhere here. And the Karina proceeds to pretty much pile driver us. She melts me, she melts Fiora, a triple kill for the Katarina. That's not a good thing for us. The game is about even at least, so you guys can enjoy that it's quite the fair match. Now, another one of the weaknesses of Cho'Gath is that every time you die, you suffer a lot more than other tanks would, because dying for you means you lose your stacks, meaning you get a little bit squishier. It was rectified by the buff that when he eats a monster, his cooldown is half, so it's not as big of a problem as before. But still, it's something to be cautious about. You don't want to just die pointlessly as Cho'Gath, for instance. Though it is also one of his greatest strengths, because like I don't think there's any champion aside from a Scion who's pretty much left to farm by himself that has a huge health story like that. Here, by the way, Kog'Maw's in such a poor positioning. I try to save him. You see, I use my abilities to shut down the two people on top of him, but because I use my abilities to shut them down, the Katarina was able just to go in undeterred and just melt my team. So once again, we get hand blasted, and the enemy team has gained the advantage. Dragon is about to spawn, I believe, and they're going to nab it as well. So we're pretty much multi-fucked right now. Fiora tries to stop... well, actually, she does manage to stop them, though it did cost her life. We show up, we clean up the Zyra, we end up killing the Scion, I believe. Yeah, he tries to do something, but he ends up getting murdered. Katarina shows up, and she really can't do anything. Now, as Cho'Gath, you're just pretty much an immovable wall. I think he's far better as a peeler than he's an initiator, and I know a lot of people are in that same camp as me. You just pretty much put yourself in between the enemy team and separate them. Like, look, the Volibear is going crazy trying to chase after my team, but I'm like, he's so separated from his teammates, he took so much free damage. Even if he did grab the Kog'Maw, he probably wouldn't have done enough to have killed him. So that was essentially for free. The enemy team was too afraid of crossing me because a single silence would just fuck up their ability to do anything. So once again, Zyra just gets killed for free. I'm just pretty much shoving my face into them. Katarina just kind of blinks into Victor's CC. So even if she wasn't attacked, she'd be crowd controlling, and her combo would stop then and there. And after that, we pretty much just waste the enemy team. It was beautiful. So, as I said, Cho'Gath just happened to counter the entire enemy team. I had only intended to counter a few of them, but think of it this way. Zyra requires her spells in order her spells to be used in succession in order to be good. She can't just put seeds down and then something will happen. No, she's got to put seeds down, then she's got to use her Q or her E and then her ultimate in order to be super effective. If she gets silenced, she gets nothing. Scion, if he gets silenced, he can't combo anything, especially after he's been running at someone, so his combo ends then and there. Katarina, need I say more? She gets shut down by every ability I have. Grave, same thing. Like I said, if he dashes forward and gets silence, he can't use his huge ass his Q ultimate explosion crap or anything. And Volibear, he can run in and then get silence, and then he can't bite or slow anybody, so he's just gonna sit there and die. So this is pretty much just a clean kill. I built myself slightly AP so I can give myself just a tad bit more damage. And again, that was because I was quite ahead in the game. So I'm 7-3 and 17. Unfortunately, we got very, very fucking cocky and tried going for the tower. And that resulted in 2 of our deaths. So let that be a lesson, kids. Greed is bad. Either way, this Fiora is fucking huge. She can pretty much 2v1 most of the enemy team right now as long as she has her ultimate. So her and my Alistair are brave enough to deter the enemy team. We show up. Victor goes in and just starts blasting laser beams at everybody. I show up. The Q hits the Volibear. I bite him, and then I think the Baron ends up finishing him off. Then watch this. You can see Kog'Maw slowly arrive. So I'm just waiting for the opportunity to rise where I can silence them both, and Kog'Maw can pretty much have free reign of just blasting at them without them being able to use any abilities. Though then Sion pokes me in my void butt and I die. So that was unfortunate for me. And the way Kog'Maw, I don't know, the Graves actually engaged the Kog'Maw in this, and the Graves didn't have the upper hand either. The Kog'Maw saw him, so Kog'Maw shot at him, and the Graves goes, "Yeah, I'll dash into you," and then he got dropped. So that wasn't exactly the smartest thing ever. We get an easy Baron. We chase after the Volibear. I use my Q right now because the Sion's over the wall, and I use it, and I manage to knock his ass up. It stops his Q entirely. We jump him, and he dies too. So dead as dead can be. Now watch this. This is great on Katarina. This is what I mean. Both Zyra and Katarina engage on me. I actually managed to silence the Katarina with my Pharaoh Scream. I figured she was gonna try to kill the Victor. And she jumped over as she was silenced, and she had no follow-up. She could do nothing, no flash, no nothing. She was just gonna have to stand there and die. So, either she made a mistake of blinking forward, or she couldn't blink backwards. I don't even know what happened there. So yeah, you can see the enemy team just gets steamrolled beyond this, and it was thanks to just having a really huge, powerful carry like Kog'Maw and having a big ass fat line to defend him. Of course, the Fiora also too became a secondary carry. So essentially, we had artillery in the back, a knight in the front, and then a huge wall behind that, just melting the enemy team. So hooray for Cho'Gath and hooray for glorious counter picks.